What if I told you the 70s Southern rock scene was much deeper than the names you remember? Hidden in the shadows are 15 obscure bands, including one who helped craft the iconic Jessica by the Allman Brothers. Their stories and sounds never got the fame they deserved. Some played with legends, while others faced brutal setbacks, like label collapses. Stick around as we uncover 15 obscure Southern rock bands from the 1970s you need to hear. What if I told you one of the most talented guitarists of the 70s never got the spotlight he earned? Dudek crafted unforgettable parts on the Allman Brothers classics, adding the iconic guitar harmony that opens Ramblin' Man, and shaping the bridge on Jessica. Yet his name often stayed out of the credits. Despite Dickie Betts pushing for recognition, Dudek never got official writing credit or royalties for Jessica. It's an example of how the music industry in the 70s could overlook session players, leaving their contributions unpaid and unseen. His debut album, Less Dudek in 1976, and later Say No More, showcased his incredible range and skill. Though they didn't break through to the mainstream, guitar collectors and dedicated fans still revere him as a true master. Fun fact, Dudek was even invited to join Journey, but he chose to carve his own path, prioritizing his solo vision over a sure shot at fame. Despite the setbacks, his influence on Southern rock is undeniable. His story is raw talent meeting tough breaks. Up next, let's uncover another band whose potential was just as real, but got tripped up by forces beyond their control. Stillwater, hailing from Georgia, brought a dual guitar punch to the Southern rock scene. Their single, Mindbender, climbed to number 46 on the Billboard Hot 100 in February 1978, proving they had the chops to grab a national audience. Signed to Capricorn Records, they opened for heavyweights like Atlanta Rhythm Section and built real momentum. But then, disaster struck. Capricorn folded in 1979, halting distribution of their work. On top of that, their equipment truck was stolen from a Chicago hotel lot, forcing canceled tour dates. As bassist Al Scarborough put it, "It was killing us. We were starting to get airplay everywhere, all at once." Their signature sound, with those killer dual guitars, shone bright. They even had a shot at NBC's Midnight Special, a huge platform for exposure, but the booking was inexplicably pulled. Stillwater's story shows talent isn't always enough. For a taste of their power, check the talkbox solo on Mindbender and hear that signature 3-guitar attack. Let's discover another tale of raw energy meeting harsh roadblocks. Point Blank, hailing from Irving, Texas, emerged in the mid-1970s with a hard-hitting Southern rock sound. Their dual guitar attack delivered a raw, powerful edge that turned heads during their peak. Just as they gained traction, disco's rise squeezed Southern rock off many playlists, dimming their chances for wider airplay. Even worse, a lawsuit with their manager Bill Ham over management contracts became the death blow, as drummer Buzzy Gruen called it. That legal mess tore the band apart by 1983, ending their run. Their single, Nicole, hit number 39 on the US Hot 100 and number 20 on the rock charts in 1981. With 6 albums packed with energy, their talent was clear. Yet bad timing and bitter disputes buried their shot at lasting fame. Buzzy Gruen blamed Ham for stunting their creative control, revealing the ugly side of the music business back then. Point Blank's raw power is a treasure for 70s rock fans. Check out Rusty Burns and Kim Davis's dual guitar work on any mid-70s track to feel that Texas edge. Stick around for another story of high hopes meeting tough realities. Grinder Switch, formed near Macon, Georgia in 1973, carried that heavy label on Capricorn Records. Their founder, Joe Dan Petty, had been a roadie and guitar tech for the Allmans, and even Dickie Betts contributed to their debut album, fueling the hype. Their sound solidified near Warner Robins, pure Southern rock through and through. Despite touring with giants like the Charlie Daniels Band and playing at every volunteer jam but one over 12 years, they couldn't land that defining moment. The next Allman Brothers tag became a weight, and mainstream success slipped away. No matter how hard they pushed, their live shows were electric, blending blues and rock with a freewheeling spirit. Guitarist Larry Howard once said, "People never realized our live solos were made up on the spot." That raw improvisation won them fans across the South, even if radio never bit. Fun fact, DJ John Peel picked their track Pickin' the Blues as his BBC theme. Search it out and hear why it caught his ear. Grinder Switch proves talent isn't always enough without luck. Let's explore another unique sound born from the Southern soil. Let's talk about the Eric Quincy Tate Band from Mississippi, who carved out their own swamp rock style in the 70s. Their sound was raw, mingling soul, blues, and country into a thick, funky mix that stood out from the usual Southern rock crowd. Their debut album on Cotillion Records in 1970, produced by heavyweights Tony Joe White, Jerry Wexler, and Tom Dowd, didn't reflect their true energy. Relying on studio musicians like the Dixie Flyers diluted their high energy. It aimed for radio polish, but lost the punch of their live shows, hurting their shot at a bigger audience. Still, their music hooked a loyal following. That first record later gained cult status among collectors. A 2006 reissue showcases why it's called a lost gem. Give it a spin to hear the magic yourself. The band admitted, "We weren't real happy at the time because they were trying to put us in the same mold as other groups on the label. They knew it didn't match their live fare." EQT's unique blend is a treat for Roots fans. Next, let's dive into another act that brought a fresh twist to this rugged genre. The Winter Brothers Band, led by Dennis and Donnie, created a rich, melodic take on Southern rock. Based in Tennessee, they wove sweet musical passages and compelling lyrics into a fresh sound. Their live energy left crowds stunned, often stealing the show with their tight vocal blend. Legal disputes between record labels shelved their second album, Coast to Coast, halting their progress dead in its tracks. Like other music companies of the time, they shifted focus to disco, leaving volunteer jams and rock festivals to fade. Their momentum vanished in a brutal time for Southern rock. Their debut got a strong push from Taz D. Gregorio of the Charlie Daniels Band, whose production added real credibility. Yet the industry's quick pivot to new trends made growth nearly impossible. Search sang her love songs on the Volunteer Jam 3's live set to hear their harmony firsthand. Fun fact, Dennis Winters is a storyteller with endless road tales. His genuine, down-to-earth vibe reflects the band's honest music. Their harmony-rich style shines even through hard times. Stick around for another story of unexpected flavors in this gritty scene. The Tate brothers mastered a blend of R&B and Southern grit. Hailing from Fayetteville, Arkansas, they hit it big with Union Man, reaching the top 15 on national charts in early 1976. Their music burst with funky, soulful energy that hooked listeners from the first note. Their blue-eyed soul approach blurred genre lines, making them hard to market purely as Southern rock. Even with tours alongside giants like Fleetwood Mac and Lynyrd Skynyrd, national fame came in fits and starts. Their 1975 debut album, produced by Steve Cropper and featuring Levon Helm, who also guested on two later records, landed them on shows like American Bandstand. But lasting success was tough to grasp in a guitar-driven scene. Their roots dug deep, inspired by Sam and Dave and Otis Redding. Reviewers praised their first record as amazingly funky soul, a sound that holds up even now. Their blend is a standout treasure. Compare Union Man to an Otis Redding track and feel that soul lineage. Up next, another band that brought a different kind of fire to the table. Hydra, straight out of Atlanta, Georgia, unleashed a heavy edge with powerful riffs and raw energy during their active years from 1974 to 1977. They fused heavy rock with Southern soul, crafting a sound often described as proto-metal energy that hit hard and stood out from the bluesy norm. Despite recording two albums packed with grit, Hydra couldn't break through in a crowded 70s scene. They lacked a major label push beyond regional distributors, and the timing just didn't align for wider success. Even with their bold sound, getting noticed was a steep uphill battle in an oversaturated market. Based in Georgia, they played with fierce power that hooked local fans. Their albums remain prized by those who crave heavier Southern tones, blending soulful depth with hard-hitting force. Search for their self-titled album, Hydra, and listen for that proto-metal edge yourself. Hydra's heavy vibe proves the genre had room for raw power. Now, let's move on to another unexpected twist in Southern rock. Sea Level, formed in 1976 by former Allman Brothers members, took the genre on a jazzy detour. Led by Chuck Leavell, the keyboardist who later joined the Rolling Stones, they infused complex rhythms and jazz-funk vibes into their late 70s sound, setting themselves apart from the typical blues-type bands. Their sophisticated style didn't always click with mainstream rock fans. Critics raved about their skill, especially on albums like Cats on the Coast, which earned strong praise even if it didn't dominate charts. Still, radio play was scarce, and comparisons to the Allman Brothers set a bar they struggled to meet in sales. Their unique vibe often flew under the radar for wider crowds. Their music popped with intricate instrumentation, far beyond just guitar riffs. You can hear that polished jazz-soul blend on every track. Check the piano solo on Midnight Pass to feel Level's jazz-funk influence for yourself. Fun fact, their name is a clever nod to Chuck Leavell's initials, Sea Level, showing their playful side. Sea Level's fusion is a rare find worth your time. Stick around to uncover another band with a sound that's just as off the beaten path.
And here it is in the middle of June.
Let's talk about Goose Creek Symphony, a band that mixed country, folk, and rock into a rural sound straight from a front porch gathering. Active from 1970 to 1976, they dropped two standout Capitol LPs, Goose Creek Symphony and Welcome to Goose Creek. Their music blended hillbilly vibes with a psychedelic twist, evident in tracks like I'll Feed You the Blues, giving them a quirky, unforgettable edge. Their offbeat style didn't fit the tight radio formats of the 70s. Even with a dedicated cult following, they couldn't grab the wider audience needed for big-time fame. Formed in Arizona, their rural rock still echoed Southern roots, yet lacked the major label backing beyond regional support to push them over the hump. They stayed on the fringes, cherished by some but overlooked by most. Their songs painted raw, earthy pictures of simple life, resonating with fans craving unpolished tunes. Their live shows had a free, communal spirit. Fans felt part of their rustic world. Their Arizona origins contrasted with their southern sound, showing how far that vibe could stretch. Their rural rock is a hidden gem. Find their live bootleg series to feel that porch jam energy yourself. Next, let's explore a take on the Southern rock's quieter, more relaxed side.
Like ginseng root, sassafras tea, ain't no telling.
Barefoot Jerry, hailing from Nashville, Tennessee, offered a mellow, groovy take on the genre from 1971 to 1977. Releasing on Capricorn Records, they blended country and blues tones, crafting a sound that stood apart from the loud, hard-hitting bands of their time. Their music was a softer, more grounded side of Southern rock. Their relaxed style didn't cut through in a scene dominated by screaming guitars. They drew a small, loyal fan base who appreciated their rootsy charm. But widespread fame never came. Their tight arrangements, reflecting Nashville session musician influence, appealed to a niche crowd, yet most listeners gravitated toward high-energy acts instead. Their laid-back grooves were a deliberate contrast to the high-octane rock of the era. Albums like Southern Delight captured that carefree essence perfectly. You can almost feel the warmth of a quiet day slipping by with their tunes. Play Flip Flop and Fly from the George Jones soundtrack for a taste of their mellow fare. Fun fact, their name, Barefoot Jerry, mirrors their casual down-home attitude. It's a nod to a simpler life that shaped their sound. Their subtle grooves are a quiet treasure worth finding. Now it's time to hear how the genre could stretch into even more surprising territory.
I sit here lying in my bed.
Let's talk about Cowboy, a band signed to Capricorn Records who infused their 70s sound with a Western soul that turned heads. Based out of Jacksonville, Florida, they blended country and folk into their Southern rock roots, crafting a vibe that felt like a journey across open plains. Their self-titled debut on Capricorn featured Duane Allman on Please Be With Me. lending serious credibility to their name. Despite early buzz and label backing, their distinct sound didn't translate to big hits. They released 2 albums between 1970 and 1974 before disbanding, but Capricorn prioritized giants like the Allman Brothers and Marshall Tucker, leaving lesser acts under-promoted. They remained a hidden favorite for fans who caught their unique twist. Their songs carried a rugged, open-road feel, mixing Southern grit with cowboy imagery. Their harmonies and storytelling painted vivid scenes of dusty trails and lone wanderers. Check out the acoustic harmonies on Please Be With Me to hear that Western soul for yourself. Fun fact, they were among the first on Capricorn to chase this Western angle, blazing a trail few followed. Cowboy's fresh spin shows the genre's room to grow. Next, let's move on to a sound that digs even deeper into raw, soulful roots.
Old lady ain't been getting along. Things don't get better.
The Elvin Bishop Group, led by the gifted Elvin Bishop, brought deep blues roots to Southern rock. Active from 1972 to 1976, they carved a unique niche in the 70s scene by fusing funky bluesy vibes with Southern grit. Their music was pure and powerful, a standout in a crowded field. While Bishop later soared as a solo act, the group itself didn't chart significantly or hold on to lasting fame. His solo hits, Fooled Around and Fell in Love, reached the top 3 in 1976 after leaving the group, showing how his individual talent outpaced the band's recognition. Albums like Rock My Soul from 1972 captured their blues rock blend, but widespread success stayed out of reach for the full lineup. Their sound carried a gritty, soulful edge, with Bishop's guitar driving live shows. Compare early tracks like Travelin' Shoes to his later solo hits and hear how that blues storytelling evolved. Fun fact, Bishop's time with the Paul Butterfield Blues Band sharpened his craft long before this group formed. Their bluesy Southern rock is a hidden gem. Stick around to hear from a little group with deep Southern connections that shape their heart and sound. Jackson Highway was a Southern rock band that burned bright but briefly in the late 1970s. Named after the legendary road that runs through the heart of the Southern sound, their music carried the spirit of the South with every gritty riff and lyric. The band brought a polished yet raw edge to their sound. Their self-titled 1977 album blended bluesy grooves, soulful harmonies, and sharp storytelling, capturing the Muscle Shoals magic with a rock and roll twist. Tracks like Locks and Bolts and Hinges and I Gotta Be Me had regional impact, earning airplay and respect from those in the know. But in a crowded scene bursting with giants like Skinnerd and the Almonds, Jackson Highway got lost in the shuffle. Without major label backing or breakout hit, they remained a deep cut. Still, the soul in their playing and the power in their songwriting holds up. Jackson Highway is more than a name. It's a sound, a place, and a vibe. Take a ride down that road and you'll hear echoes of a band that deserved a bigger stage. Now, let's take a look at a sound that carried a bold, untamed spirit of Southern rock from the 70s into the 80s. Let's talk about Doc Holliday, a band that roared onto the scene in the early 80s with a fiery outlaw sound that demanded to be heard. Formed in 1980 out of Georgia, they arrived as Southern rock needed a last burst of grit. Their raw power packed with arena-level riffs gave fans something fierce to cling to. They hit the stage just as Southern rock's popularity was fading fast. Disco and new wave dominated the airwaves, stealing the spotlight. Radio stations shifted focus, making it a brutal time to get noticed. Even touring with heavyweights like Molly Hatchet and Blackfoot on the tail end of the Southern circuit couldn't push them past the changing tides. Their music was bold, full of aggressive guitars, and defiant attitude. Their self-titled debut in 1981 captured that late surge of the genre's spirit. Cue up Loud and Lonesome to hear their outlaw energy firsthand. Every track felt like a stand against the trends. Fun fact, named after the infamous gunslinger, their name perfectly matched their wild approach in a shifting landscape. Doc Holliday's Rebel Fire is a standout for 70s rock fans. Stick around as we tie together all these incredible, overlooked stories. We've journeyed through 15 obscure facts from the 70s, each showing a unique side of the genre. From jazz-funk twists to R&B soul and proto-metal grit. Their stories of legal battles and disco's rise impacting their momentum reveal the harsh music industry realities they faced. Which band caught you off guard? Or which one do you remember the most? Drop a comment below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more lost chapters of rock history.